We are back, we are back, we are back. What is going on, guys? This is the Virtual Boot Room. This is episode 11, and I am back. But I did replace one American with another American, so technically I'm keeping things correct in terms of us supporting two continents. So let's welcome Mr. DerFM, Matthias. Hello, sir.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for stepping in and taking over from the ever-absent Colin.
Thanks for having me.
We will end up sacking him if he's not back soon. I do apologise we've not been around for a few weeks, but we are back to the weekly Football Manager podcast, so do not fear. It's not going to be a very detailed podcast. We're going to more just talk about what we're doing and what we enjoy in Matthias, and just kind of have a nice little chat.
Okay.
Sounds fun, doesn't it?
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, let's not stress ourselves out tonight. Let's just have a nice chat.
We say that now.
Yeah, don't worry. It's going well. It's going well. But I will save that for my current save talk. And because you are the guest tonight, Matthias, you can start by just filling people in. Who are you and what are you doing?
As you said, my name is Matthias, also known as DerFM in the Football Manager content creator community. I've got a YouTube channel, so just search Der, D-E-R-F-M, and I've got a website called Der, D-E-R, footballman.com, because DerFM was actually already taken, believe it or not. And I've got two series. I've got one on the YouTube channel, which is a journeyman series with a fictitious manager from a regen from FM16, which is going quite nicely. First two seasons was at Carl Zeiss Jena, took them up from the German fourth tier to the second tier, then jumped ship for various reasons to France, and is now in charge of Stade de Reims and sitting on a Champions League spot, even though they were picked for relegation. And then on my website, I've got a save with Hamburg in Germany, rebuilding the Dino, just a one-club save, Bundesliga type deal, and it's going well. Fourth in the first season, winning the cup. Second season, didn't win anything, but finished second. Oh, no, I guess we won the Super Cup, but who cares about the Super Cup? Finished second, so direct qualified for the Champions League, made a ton of money, so Hamburg is out of debt. And, that's kind of what I've got going on right now.
Now, the other thing is, look at this, I'm going to plug for you.
Okay.
See, this should be you doing this, but on your website, there's not just you writing.
That's correct. There are three other gentlemen writing on the website. One is doing a series on Magdeburg, kind of a youth academy. That's FM American. Then we've got Borman Plays. He's doing a series in not Switzerland, even though they're playing in the Swiss League, but in Liechtenstein as manager of both Liechtenstein's national team and FC Vaduz, which is the capital of Liechtenstein, plays in the Swiss League. And then at Alex THFC 04, he is doing a save with Rot-Weiß Oberhausen.
Fantastic. See, there's more content. And Vaduz in Liechtenstein, Switzerland, such a fantastic club to manage. It is very, very sad, in my opinion, that they can't qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah.
I think that's it must be so frustrating for them in real life. I mean, are they ever going to challenge Basel? Probably not.
No.
But it would be nice to know if they did, that they would be guaranteed the Champions League spot if they ended up in it. But then I guess it's also nice that they are always guaranteed Europa League football due to the Liechtenstein
the cup.
Yeah, due to them being given a spot in there, due to being the only club from Liechtenstein in it, type thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I guess it's kind of, well, you're guaranteed European football every year, but you will never play in the Champions League. Maybe it'll change over time if they did become a big club in real life, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. Again, Basel is kind of like the Bayern of Switzerland over the last decade and a half, and they're always in the Champions League, and that money it's hard to compete. It's hard for anybody else to compete really in Switzerland,
Yes.
let alone a team that's guaranteed to not get Champions League money.
Yeah, without doubt. I think it's just fascinating. I think it's definitely a save to go and read.
Oh
It's
yeah,
written
outsiders.
well, very well, and it's such an interesting club. And I mean, when their youth team is the Liechtenstein youth team, it makes it so fascinating how this club in real life is blended between national team and club football. So make sure you go and check it out, and also go and check it out on YouTube because there's some really interesting documentaries which you will need subtitles to go and watch. But I've seen at least one which I loved about the club, and it spoke about the youth team, etc. So there's a recommendation for you, Matthias.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah, see, I'm here to help. But going back to your save,
hmm
you said you were sitting in the Champions League spot when you were expected to battle against relegation or go get relegated.
hmm
So I guess there's people now here going, "Whoa, nice, impressive, good job." But how is that happening? Like, what do you feel are the key aspects to your success?
Well, I mean, it's not just limited to what's been going on at Stade Reims. We're well overperforming expectations, but it even started at Jena, where in season one they were predicted to finish sixth. We won the league, got promoted it to the third tier. We're expected to finish bottom. I think we were like 600 to 1 odds, and we actually ran away with the title. Got promoted to the second Bundesliga, and then now with Reims. And it's basically I stumbled. I don't want to say I stumbled across a tactic because that makes me sound less intelligent than I think I may be. But at least I looked at what was there, and I was going to start with my standard kind of 4-4-1-1, and quickly realized somehow it wasn't working. And I just kind of looked at it, and I had heard that back three tactics are working better on FM17 than FM16. And I had used one once on FM16, and it worked relatively well-ish. And I decided, you know what? I don't really have good fullbacks. The fullbacks that I do have are actually better center backs than fullbacks from their attributes. So why not play with a back three and kind of develop this 3-5-1-1 tactic? And it worked. It worked incredibly well at two different levels, and now basically at three different levels with two different clubs, because I have the right players either that were there, or I got the right players in to fit the roles in the tactic, as well as I looked at the players at my disposal and saw that, for instance, I've never used defensive wingers before, but the two guys I had on the wings were perfectly suited to play defensive wingers due to their attribute set. So I tried defensive wingers, and it worked because I, like so many people, was turned off by the term defensive winger, when in fact they're actually more offensive than your standard winger on support, because they're basically hyper aggressive wingers who press high up the pitch all the time. And you need a specific attribute set for that. And then when I went to Reims, I also had some guys that fit that mold. So I just basically took the tactic from Jena, plugged it into Reims, had no fullbacks bar one, and he got sold out from under me. So I had no fullbacks. I said, okay, I only need to add maybe one or two center backs. That's cheaper than adding four fullbacks. So I stuck with that tactic, and it is paying off because I had the players for it.
Now, your manager has a Twitter account.
Yes, he
Uh,
does.
what is the Twitter account?
Uh, at a Schmidt underscore FM17. And Schmidt is SCHMIDT.
Fantastic. You can find that by obviously contacting you on Twitter as well if
Uh-huh.
needed.
Yep.
So basically, what's happened is you've created a manager, you've given him obviously a profile, etc.
hmm
And you're now having crazy success in Football Manager, and this guy's taking all the credit.
Of course he is. I take no
Yeah.
credit. It's all Achim. Achim
So,
is the king.
so as you say, you now have found this tactic. You've had great success in Germany in terms of surpassing expectation. You've gone to France. You're doing fantastic. And it's not actually you, it's this
It's
this other
Achim.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically this whole discussion was not even about you.
No, should get
No.
him on the pod. But his accent's a little brutal at
I've
times.
tried to get
So
him on, his agents are
yeah, well, don't tell him that. He's kind of a mad Greek, so.
probably gonna have to beep that word. Colin will tell me off if he listens back. And
No,
now people will be listening going, what word did he beep?
oh, you know.
You
No,
know it.
you know. No, it's honestly the success with Yena in the first season. Okay, it surprised me a little, but not that much because if you're tip sixth and you end up getting promoted, it's not that big of a stretch. But then in the Dritte Liga to win it and actually win it relatively comfortably, that really surprised me. And now in France, after honestly a pretty rough start, we won one of our first 7 matches.
Yeah.
And now it's like almost, knock on wood, we can't not win. I mean, heck, spoiler alert, but I mean, we knocked Monaco out of the League Cup. So, I mean, I didn't expect that. And we didn't just knock them out of the cup, we dominated the match completely. So it seems like Achim has stumbled across a tactic that works rather well.
I think it's good job back him, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. All the credit to him. I just, I'd like 10% of his salary now.
Yeah, dream on. I think it's impressive, and as you say, I think it's so rewarding when you do come across, not as you say, not stumble across it, but you put planning into it, and you put thought into it, and the tactic pays off, and you start winning the games, and as you say, you're at a point now where you can't seem to lose, and it's just like. It's so rewarding, it's so pleasing. You sit back at the end of your football manager session and you do what all of us want to do and just go, oh, that was fantastic. What a night of football manager, and you go off and you're nice and happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all want. And I think when this podcast goes live on the episode, you will see on my channel, on the Northman channel, you will see that I've just moved to a new club on the evening. I think this goes live Monday morning, and Monday night I go to my new club, which, spoiler alert for people who listen to the podcast, is Southend United. And that's come about after a superb season with Barrow. Expected, when I took over the club, they were close to relegation. They were a couple of places above. I secured them in League Two. Then the following season, where I had a full season in charge, I took them into the playoffs, which was never expected. But the club was, I think, we had the second lowest salary, we had the second or third lowest attendance. Our players were dreadful. We had a couple of players who did well, who looked like they would do well, but the rest of them were fairly crap. I had a 32-year-old striker who was 1.5-star ability, who got 36 goals in the season. He's a dream. And it all come from finding the tactic. I mean, after 7 years at Darlington of trying to force a certain type of play, trying to develop the team to play how I wanted, I went to Barrow and I said, well, look, I need to have some bigger success. I mean, with Darlington, I always surpassed expectations, so it's not like I failed there. And they've actually just been relegated now on the series, which is quite sad. But I think moving to Barrow, I said to myself, right, when I first took over, we only had a few games left. I think there was 10, 15 games left. I can't remember. It was a few weeks ago now. And I remember saying to myself, right, how do I keep these in the division? And I looked at the players. I think we had the lowest passing ability in the division, the lowest first touch ability in the division, the lowest pace in the division. So I said, right, well, we're going to go very standard. We're going to go 4-4-2. We're going to go direct. We're not going to exploit anything. We're going to keep the instructions minimal. And we're just going to get that ball up to the strikers. I had 2 strikers who were quite good in terms of strength, in terms of hold-up play. Midfield-wise, they were quite poor. So I'm not going to lie, I kind of bypassed my midfield 90% of the time. And I think we picked up 5 wins in 8 games or something to secure safety. Then I continued with that tactic in the next season. I added a couple of players in, but we still were below mid-table in terms of abilities in the squad. So again, we played direct. We didn't mess around with the ball, and we managed to get to the playoffs. Unfortunately, losing in the final, losing to a better side, which was it was almost a weird situation because when the final whistle ended of the playoff final, it was kind of well, we've done well to get here. And now I knew I was leaving. I knew I wanted to move on from Barrow. So it was kind of a, yep, we've got them to the playoff final. We've done better than anyone expected. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And now we move on to Southend. And next week's videos are not to be missed. I've recorded a week in advance. So I've actually finished my first season with Southend. Matthias knows what happens. And it's fun, it's enjoyable. My love for Football Manager is back, and it's strong, and I'm loving recording videos, and I think it comes across in the next week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did recording it. But we're going to go back to you, Matthias. And I want you to sell yourself to people in terms of what are your potential plans going forward in the next few weeks. Now, bear in mind that we know you're going to be a bit away from the keyboard.
Yeah, so people who watch my series or read my series, they know that I run my own business, and that does take time. And in fact, week after next, I'm going to be gone for about 4 days, so I got to pre-record. And then from the 27th of February to the 27th of March, I'm actually going to be traveling in Europe. I live in the United States. And it's going to be a little hard to create videos during that time because I won't have my setup with me, except maybe my microphone. And so I'm still trying to decide what I even want to do. Try to pre-record as much as possible. But my plans then is to kind of start a mini series that I already once kind of talked about, which is my Football Manager formula. And basically, people always ask me, what do you do? How do you do this? How do you do that? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And so this is just going to be like a little month-and-a-half long mini series where I go into different aspects of FM17 that I find important, whether it's squad analysis, training, interactions, scouting, coaching teams, that kind of stuff, and just walk people through what I do. It's not rocket science, but it's what I do, and it seems to pay off more often than it doesn't. So that's a little mini series that I will be launching when I'm absent, so that there is still content. Written content there will always be, because obviously, as we know, it's easier to write about Football Manager in that sense than to produce videos, because you just need a laptop and the game, and you need Word, and you can write up what you're doing. So, there's not a ton of production work that has to go into it. So you'll continue to see written work. And then after that, my plan is, with this journeyman series called Die Reise, a German journey, is to continue that. Honestly, I'd like to see if I could push it 20, 30, 40 years, have Achim then retire as an old man and or become a TV pundit when he can't really be bothered anymore to do anything else. So maybe that'll go all the way to FM18 and continue with my weekly Football Manager vlog show. I'm going to be kicking that off again here shortly. And then on the blog side of things, Hamburg will come to a close at some point. It's a more casual, top tier type save. Don't expect it to go 20 seasons. And I do have an idea for what's to follow it. It's a project. I know, Paul, I talked to you about it. I'm not going to mention it now, but it's very Athletic Bilbao themed, but it's not in Spain. And I thought about it since FM16, but I didn't do it then because I only thought of it pretty late in the game life cycle, and it's a longer term project. So that will probably come to the website, maybe YouTube, but probably just the website. And then I am also looking at, in the near future, starting a series for the Football Manager's website, your website, And it will not be German themed. All my stuff on my website and my channel somehow is German themed in some shape or form. And I'm gonna like annex Switzerland and Austria into that, German speaking countries. So something that has nothing to do with that, with Switzerland or Austria or Germany or anything like that. And I'm actually kind of really looking forward to it because I can kind of do what I want which I always do, but you know what I mean. It's like the world is my oyster.
Yeah.
Problem is I don't know which oyster to pick. So, I'm kicking around an idea, starting another Journeyman series, but this time starting in the US with an American guy, or doing something in Africa, or maybe doing a one club save in England. I've been asked to do that a few times on YouTube, but I'm not going to say I refuse to do that on YouTube. I don't do that on YouTube because I feel like there's enough of that on YouTube from people but from people who are actually from England. Yes, I lived in the UK for a while. I lived in Scotland. But doing maybe something from the British Isles, either Scotland or England, I haven't quite decided, or out of my comfort zone completely, go to South America or Portugal or something like that. Haven't quite decided. Maybe the listeners can throw out some ideas of something they'd love to read.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's trying to decide where you want to start your journey it's always the most difficult. The most difficult thing to do. I mean, in terms of potential plans, we've been talking. I'm going to be writing a little bit for Passion for FM, which I'm excited to do. I mean, yes, I've the football managers, but I like to get out in the community, and I've not done it for a while in terms of writing on. I think the last site I wrote on was Occasional FM, apart from my own site. So it would be nice. I'm looking forward to doing some guest posts on their site, and it's all going to be based around Kalmar in Sweden, and that's more about me staying in my comfort zone, which is Scandinavia, and doing. I kind of want to do some sort of youth challenge, but also focus on developing the club and do a post showing how I've decided what players are in my team in terms of what type of football I want the team to play, what type of football I think the team can play as well, which we've obviously discussed in terms of my time at Barrow, playing the style that the team can play. But I want to. It's tough to explain because there's so many plans going on in my head when it comes to that at the minute. In terms of my YouTube channel, I've got a few more mini-series coming. I've just finished one which was bottom in January, where I took charge of the club who was bottom of the table on January the 1st and tried to save them from relegation. It's only a 4-part mini-series. It was fun to do, quite fun, and they're quite quick to record as well, so it's no major stress with that kind of thing. But I'm really excited to get back into writing, really excited to see what I can produce in that sense. I did do a molded post on my website, but unfortunately my laptop has died and had to be completely reset, which means that's gone, which was a bit frustrating. That's why I have a desktop, because my laptop is about as reliable as Colin is coming on a podcast.
Ooh.
I know, digs left, right and centre tonight. Colin will have a go. But I want to move on. Just ask, what are you enjoying at the minute in the community, Matthias, written or video form?
In the written format, honestly, I haven't really read that much lately. I always catch up on Volksrepublik Fußball and Limited Fullback. Kind of. I always like reading theirs. FM Grasshopper as well, but unfortunately he's taken a long time hiatus now, so that's unfortunately off the menu now. So I'm kind of looking out and see who else is out there, something new. New writers is always refreshing. I always like reading stuff that Guido writes. Counter-pressing thing that he wrote about was very interesting, because obviously that's kind of my thing that I like to focus on. But if I look at YouTube, present company excluded, of course. Paul. Of course. I never miss one of yours. I watch a lot of the quote-unquote bigger guys, whether that's Loki Doki. I love Golden FM series, the Lujo's series, and Dr. Benji, as the big ones that I always catch up on. a few more to throw out there would be then, Matt at One True Nerd, because he's really funny. And he's doing, his Recreativo save in Spain is also something different. And it's cool to see something different. Same culture, Left Foot, who was obviously on this podcast. His Maribor save is interesting. I've really enjoyed two guys that I've really, really gotten into lately. Oh, and Fox in the Box, good to see him back. But two guys I've really enjoyed watching lately. One is Teach FM.
Yeah.
He's got a great series with Manchester United, which is difficult. Usually it's hard for me to get into the big club saves out of England, just because I feel like it gets easy fast domestically. Now he had a heartbreaking loss to PSG in the Champions League, which it was a shame for him, but it was kind of cool to see. And I'm sure he'll forgive me for saying it was cool to see him lose, but it was cool because it gave him motivation. He said, season 3 it's all about winning the Champions League. Forget domestic. I just want to win the Champions League. And it gives you that drive. And what I like about his series is he goes really, really in depth on his tactical setup, his thinking behind everything. So it's entertaining, but it's also, it's teaching. And I'm picking up some pointers here. And that's a lot like I like to play, or how I like to do my series as well, a little bit more in depth. And then the other one is FM Life. Guy from Australia, and he's got one with Charlton right now. He also does stuff for FM Scout, different videos for them, and he's also extremely knowledgeable of the game, and it shines through. And I have to give a shout out now. This probably the majority of people listening to this podcast are not fluent in German, but I have to give a shout out to a German YouTube content creator. They do it in German. It's called Leaks for Geeks. And it's this very small channel. It's like 100-something subs. But these guys really know their stuff. And it's 3 guys doing one series. So they're doing a co-op series. Each episode's pretty long because they get together in the evening and do it. And they just record and play and talk and go into detail about what they're going to do next season, what they're doing for the next match, and so on. And it's in Italy, in the Serie A. They're dedicated to Italy. Now, they do move clubs, but it's 3 of them are in Serie A, 3 different clubs. They start off at Genoa, Sampdoria, and Bologna. And, each episode, like I said, is pretty lengthy, can get up to an hour, but it's like you're sitting there watching 3 guys who really know their stuff play FM. And it's cool, especially when they start playing against each other. It's really, really, really interesting. So I have to give them a shout out. If you are fluent in German, or fluent enough that you can understand it, I recommend Leaks for Geeks.
That actually sounds really interesting. I'm really annoyed that I would have no idea what they're saying. So what I wanted to say is, if people know of other people like that, where you have 3 or 4 people who sit and they play for a night. I mean, I'd love to get together and have a night where me, you and Colin could find a night where we can sit down and do that kind of save every once a week, once a fortnight. It'd be mission impossible to find that time where we could do it, but that would be so much fun. I think that's definitely worth checking out if you would understand it. I've got to give my first mention is going to be to Curti FM, who started a new series with Aldershot. Was it Aldershot? Yes, it was Aldershot. Bloody hell. That's a good start,
You wanted to say Altrincham, didn't you?
I wanted to say Altrincham, and I wanted to say Aldershot, and I was trying to think. I knew the location of it, and I was trying to think, right, what place is there? So it's down near Woking, and I remember I watched it yesterday, and the first episode is called Curti Calls the Shots, I think it is, because I saw in the comments One True Nerd said it should have been called #shots fired, which I kind of thought was quite funny. But yeah, it's really, really good episode 1. Definitely brought you insight into the club, and he has so much passion for the club, and I think that came across in the episode. The next person I want to mention is I think he's called Route 1 FM is his YouTube channel account. And it's really, really entertaining. He does some funny stuff. One of his episodes, he forgot to turn his microphone on for the introduction, so he did a voiceover, and it was so funny. He's just talking, going, look at this guy. I have no idea what he's saying. He's probably talking about this. His hands are waving about. It was so funny. It's definitely worth checking out. And you watch YouTube. YouTube to me is like, it's just television, isn't it, Matthias? You have an hour spare. You kind of think to yourself, do I go and watch the History Channel and watch like porn stars or ice road truckers, or do I watch some YouTube? And that's what YouTube is to me. It's just like television, but people get to make their own television, their own entertainment. And Route 1 FM definitely does that. And it's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, and I have the same opinion on YouTube. Like I said, I run my own business. I run it from my house. So home office, when I'm working, doing stuff, I usually now have YouTube running different stuff. It's predominantly FM, or some of the strategy gaming stuff that I'm into, and just have it running. And also when I play FM, honestly, I have a lot of FM content running then as well, or podcasts. But it's another form of entertainment that honestly is easier to come by than TV, because yes, I have a TV in my office, but it is never on because it's behind me and I'd actually have to swivel around to take a look at it.
Damn that turn.
Whereas here I have it on my iPad, right on my desk with an external Bluetooth speaker, and from Avio. Yeah, I mean, it's all day entertainment.
And I'm going to say that the final thing I want to mention, and this is going to be sad for anyone who follows YouTube and follows the community, is it has now been 9 months since Second Yellow Card put a video out.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If there's one YouTuber, do you know when they say if there's one person you could watch from the world of football again in your lifetime, who would it be? Mm-hmm. It's going to be like that for Second Yellow Card in the Football Manager community. Mm-hmm. If there's one YouTuber you wish could come back to the modern day, it's Second Yellow Card. Yeah. We wish him well. Gone but never forgotten. He's not dead, just in case people wonder.
No.
He did post a picture on Facebook the other day, which does confirm he's not dead, but he is enjoying dressing up in fancy dress.
He just tweeted today, even.
Did he tweet today, did he? Okay.
Yeah, it's like the first tweet I've seen from Matt in months.
See, we're still talking about him 9 months later. That's the impact he has on us.
Yeah.
Plus, and if you haven't seen him, it doesn't matter that it's all Football Manager. Go and check out Second Yellow Card on YouTube. He's Rebuilding Wimbledon Classic, Hidden Dragons in Wales Classic, Michelin Classic, From the Shadows Classic, Outcast to Icons Classic, Sleeping. Oh my God! When you go through these series, I loved every one of them.
Yeah, I think in the transition between FM16 and FM17. When there really wasn't any FM17 content out and everybody was still kind of playing FM16, the beta first kicked off. I was actually watching his Red Star series because I hadn't watched it.
When you go through, that was Portsmouth. It was FM15.
Yeah.
Red Star was FM15. Outcast Icons FM15. From the Shadows was FM15. I mean, I remember them series so well, and it's genuinely sad, but health and life comes first, and we do hope he comes back to the community, because when you go through them series are among us content creators, and probably among the community who watches YouTube and did watch it in FM15. This was the pinnacle. This was what everybody strives towards, and it's just like, it's gone.
Yeah.
But, do you know, we've ended on a nice happy note there, looking back at a great content creator who doesn't produce content anymore, but we do hope he comes back, obviously, in the future. Fingers crossed anyway. But that is the end of the podcast. What I want people to do is hit us up on Twitter, on YouTube, on somewhere else, wherever you can find us, and let us know what topics you want us to talk about next week. Who is going to be on the podcast? I don't know. I might have to drag Matthias back. I might have to go over to America and find Colin. I mean, we could maybe make some wanted posters, see if we can find him. But that is the end. Matthias, thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's nice to just have a 35-minute chat, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want you to have a nice evening stroke day. For people wondering, I'm now going to go and watch Match of the Day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
enjoy.
stay safe. So yeah, thank you. Stay safe, guys. And I'm going to end how I end every one of my videos on my channel. Stay safe and happy gaming.